Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Atlas. In today's video, we're going to keep it really short. It is Christmas Eve during the time of me recording this. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin, Orchid, taking a look at the charts for the graph as well as XRP and Ethereum, and going over what's going on in the news, primarily with Bitcoin here. And so there's not actually a lot going on. You know, most people are actually getting prepared for Christmas. And so a lot of business activity. I did notice earlier a lot of activity as far as USDT. There's a Twitter account that I follow, and it was talking about 125 million here, 150 million there, left and right. And so I don't know if there's this big preparation that's going on. A lot of the stuff looked like it was being moved over to the exchanges. So there could be a big potential pump coming soon, but we'll have to see. So yeah, guys, if you are new to the channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well. It is greatly appreciated. Let's try to get to 100 likes on each of these videos. It definitely helps us out, lets me know that you appreciate the time and effort that we do here on this channel. And also be sure to click the bell icon so that you know whenever there's a new video. Okay, get right on into it, guys. First up, Rubini, Bitcoin's hyperbolic bubble is going to go bust. Very poor perspective view from this guy. Just look at the picture. I mean, they captured all the emotional anger that this guy seems to have about Bitcoin in this. Famed economist Nouriel Roubini says that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which he's dubbed as crap coins, have no place in retail or institutional investor portfolios. Roubini, a professor of economics at NYU's Stern School of Business, slammed Bitcoin as it has hit recent highs and was last trading above $23,300, right now at $23,700. First of all, calling it a currency. It's not a currency. It's not a unit of account. It's not a means of payment. It's not a stable store of value. Secondly, it's not even an asset, Roubini said. According to Roubini, Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. He pointed out that assets, bonds, stocks, real estate, or precious metals either provide income, capital gains, or some form of utility. While in the case of Bitcoin, there is no income, he said. There is no use. There is no utility. The only thing is a speculative, self-fulfilling kind of rise, and that rise is driven totally by manipulation. Roubini noted that there's academic research to suggest that the pseudo-stable coin Tether has been created by fiat and is used literally to manipulate the price of Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin is totally manipulated by a bunch of people, by a bunch of whales. It doesn't have any fundamental value, he said. We're close to the point where the hyperbolic bubble is going to go bust. Okay, well, 2017, circumstances were different and it did pop. We're talking about something that's stable. Like, the thing is that no one has been making as much profit as they have involved with Bitcoin. If you just buy Bitcoin and you hold it, you're making more profit than if you used any of these other means. So saying like you're not making any profit in that one regard. And then you could say, well, yeah, but that's because of all the whales that are coming in. All right, what about the miners? They're getting rewarded for their ability to actually discover these things, right? So they're contributing a proof of work, which is the consensus model of what Bitcoin entails. So Bitcoin itself is essentially backed off of the hash rate, which is labeled through all of these mining mechanisms, and that strengthens the integrity of the network. So if your concern is about the stability of something like this, the instability of the traditional fiat system should be more concerning to you, right? You could say, well, I'm making profit because I have real estate and I rent it out. Okay, but you also have to pay property taxes on that, and there's going to be a lot of other increment fees, any repairs that you have to do. So you have negative instances that are being incurred because of you owning this property, right? And then in addition to that, the value of the currency is going down. So what do? You have to raise your rent just to stay competitive, to stay comparative to the actual market and the economy and the way that it's adjusting that. So you're barely making any difference at all with that. You're going to put all this time and effort into something that's just leading you neutral, right? A lot of people want to move forward. People want to progress. You're taking money out of one position and putting it somewhere else to make sure it's safe. But at the same time, too, you don't want to be working for the rest of your life. At a certain point, you want to have retirements. You want to have things that make sense for you to be able to be stabilized like that. So if you're losing in a lot of regards with these other assets from what he's saying, it's one thing, but the actual profit potential for what comes from Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is significantly higher. and we're still in the early adoption phase, right? So the potential for the market growth in this industry space is still massive. And you don't have to put 100% of your assets into Bitcoin, but to totally denounce Bitcoin, to totally denounce cryptocurrencies and the way that this guy does, he's full of hot air. Sure, he's older than me. Sure, he's been in this industry space as far as economics goes, right? Famed economist Nouriel Roubini, but he doesn't seem to know jack about Bitcoin. And there's plenty of other people that have a lot of money that do speak up and they do buy Bitcoin, they do support it. And, you know, it's just ridiculous, the things that he's saying with this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But this guy just seems like he's full of hot air. And when Bitcoin ends up hitting $50,000, he's going to say the same thing, just like what Peter Schiff is saying, that it's overvalued, that the bubble's going to pop. And watch, it's going to drop 20%. It's going to drop 40, maybe 60%. And he's going to say, see, look, it's all over. It's all over. It's fake, the scam, this and that. And then it's going to recover. And it's going to keep going up. All right? It's a store of value. This guy is ridiculous. Anyways, going on to the next thing. Another person, Kevin O'Leary. Oh, man. A lot of crap being thrown at the wall in these articles, but finishing up with a little bit of good news. So Bitcoin is irrelevant and investors are going to weep if regulators come down hard on crypto, says Kevin O'Leary. Kevin O'Leary told CNBC on Thursday Bitcoin is irrelevant to financial markets and at risk of regulation. I mean, it's highly relevant. Like, look at how much money Grayscale has put into it, right? MicroStrategy, PayPal has come into this equation. It's PayPal, which is a financial marketplace. So to say that it's irrelevant, it literally just got introduced. You can't have those two statements in the same sentence and have it make sense. His comments come as an increasing number of institutions like Guggenheim and Skybridge Capital invest millions into the cryptocurrency, driving a rally of over 200% in 2020. I'm waiting for the day that one of these regulators comes down hard on Bitcoin. Grown men are going to weep when that happens. You'll never see a loss of capital like that ever in your life. It will be brutal, he said. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin is proposing a new regulation that would require certain cryptocurrency traders to provide more information about their identities and cryptocurrency transactions. And so another statement that he said is this a nothing burger? It's not even a single cell amoeba, the O'Shares chairman said. I love to talk about it. It's fun to watch it go up and down, but during the day when the bell rings, I don't talk to anybody that's worried about this. They do not put capital to work in Bitcoin. Well, it's their loss. They're not making as much money. As I'm talking, Bitcoin is technically going up at the moment, right? We're at $23,800. We just hit it over on the other chart. This chart is just slightly lagging behind. 23,793 right there. We're getting close to $24,000 again. The sentiment behind people, the idea of it going to $25,000 is becoming stronger with every day that we stay above some of these key levels, right? We maintain above $22,000. It's a strong indication sign that like 25K is definitely possible. So anyways, moving on to the next bit right here. This is from the Motley Fool, which I clicked on one of their articles and I have a feeling that Google is now recommending more of their stuff when I'm trying to do new research of what's going on for the day. But, you know, this is still relevant. Just seems like they're always crapping on crypto from what I can find now. Why Grayscale Ethereum Trust is getting crushed today. Shares of Grayscale Ethereum Trust, a fund designed to allow traditional investors to invest in the non-traditional asset known as Ethereum, are getting crushed today. As of 11:20 a.m. Eastern Time, it's down a whopping 18%. By contrast, Ethereum is only down 3% over the past 24 hours. In theory, the movement shouldn't diverge as much. What gives? So Grayscale, you guys can take a look at this chart right here. Grayscale being labeled in purple and Ethereum's price in that gold. Grayscale's Ethereum Trust did undergo a 9-for-1 stock split on December 17th. This could have caused some confusion among investors as to the intrinsic value of shares. However, this theory falls short because Grayscale Ethereum Trust was rising fast before the split and has since fallen. Note that the chart is split adjusted. Moving on. Bitcoin's rally has already outlasted 2017's epic run. All right, we're going on for some good news here. The digital currency has tripled in price this year and is holding its gains longer. The digital currency, which has more than tripled in price this year, hit its first record of the year 24 days ago and has continued climbing, trading as high as $24,273 on Sunday. On Wednesday, it closed at $23,299. In previous rallies, such gains have quickly reversed course. And now it is past 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time as of the time of me recording this video. We can actually take a look with that new candle formation. You guys can actually see they had closed above $23,000 once again. So this is at $23,715 approximately. So we're still in the good zone. I mean, you even take a look yesterday, it went down to $23,200, but was still a daily close in $23,000 range. In fact, we've had 1, 2, 3 days of closure in a row, which when you look at trend patterns, that's a strong sign. And we even look over here, comparatively, you got 1, 2, 3 days still in the $23,000 range, one day that dropped just a little bit below, kind of like a fake out, and then a continuation of daily closures in the $23,000 range. So 23,000 seems to be a pretty good baseline level of support for the progressive movement forward of Bitcoin, although Bitcoin could technically still pull back. So as we've been seeing with this trend ascension moving on, there is the potential, if this is to climb up, it is Christmas Eve, and I was talking about this before, we could very well see a $25,000 price Bitcoin happening around today. It didn't happen on the candle from yesterday, but it is technically potential today by comparison when you look at just how these candles had moved, although several of these were massive spikes taking place. We do have consolidation that goes on when the waters almost seem like they're going calm or they're going sideways, then a big decisive move seems to take place. One thing I am concerned with is that when you look at what happened with Thanksgiving, I think the holiday season, everyone's going to be talking about Bitcoin, encouraging, oh, look at how good it's doing this and that. Guess what? Bitcoin started to tank a bunch in that holiday. So we might see something happen like that again today. A lot of people that don't celebrate Christmas, potentially what they're looking to do is when people have that blind eye and they're not looking to make the investments, okay, boom, they're going to drop it on the market. They're too busy spending time with their family. They're out of the office, whatever it is, to have too much of an impact coming in. They can start to manipulate and push the direction one way or the other because they have so much influence, right? They have so much money as a whale that they can come in, that they can dramatically impact these things. And that's with anything that you look into from a financial investment perspective. So with this, here's some key levels that we should be concerned with, right? First off is going to be the $23,000 range and seeing if it's going to be able to maintain on the daily candle close above that. It might dip down below as we've seen in these points here for the last several days, but maintaining itself and closing above, that's a key point. We're seeing some immediate drop off. We're just 10 minutes into the new daily candle formation. You could already see that there's a lot of price action taking place in comparison to that candle from the previous day. So that's very interesting. The top of this wick had just bounced off of this point here. So I would say key level for our first perspective view is going to be right around $22,700. You can see several points of reference right here. The bounce off on this point back on December 19th and maintaining right around in this zone, right? See, so it's very close in that range, right around $22,725 range. That's going to be a level of support for there. If it has a further continuation on down, next major level I would be looking at is going to be right around here at $22,345. Then we have $21,900, or more specifically, I'd be concerned with $22K, and then even further of a drop would be down to $21,645, right? If it goes to the 21 EMA, with the candle that we are on today, the 21 EMA is still climbing up pretty high. That's at $21,470. You guys can also tell that with the RSI is on the verge of being considered to be overbought once again, although we are in a major bull run. So the RSI will have instances where it shows that it is overbought, but it maintains pretty a long amount of time. As you guys can see, from October 20th all the way to November 25th, it had stayed in an overbought kind of zone, and then it finally started to have some drop off take place right around here. That was back on November 26th, right around the Thanksgiving period. If this has a further rally up, we could potentially see hitting $25,000 today from a psychological standpoint, or tomorrow, just because of this top level of support and where we've been seeing some bouncing off take place. That would actually need to be a substantial price increase, but it's not impossible. A lot of people looking for Christmas presents. I mean, what's a greater Christmas present than being like, hey, Johnny, I'm going to buy you a Bitcoin for your college tuition someday. I'll be honest, I kind of thought about something like that too for some of my family. Bitcoin's a bit higher now, so it's a little bit harder to do something like that, but I have considered something like that in the past. So other people are obviously going to be considering that too. There's so many things. A lot of that is obviously speculative. We're just looking at the charts and looking at what the probabilities are for these different things. And once again, guys, if you are enjoying yourselves, please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Let's try to get to 100 likes, and also click the bell icon. Level of breaking above right here is at $23,847. Break above that, and then we got 24K. Past 24K becomes the $500 increment zones. We're looking to try and get past 24,500. We actually saw some major resistance right here. This is the highest point that we have, which was around $24,300, and yeah, $24,300, right? So we can hit 24,500. Past that, 25K is essentially a sure thing. So getting really close to it, potentially people selling off just before it hits because they think it's going to start pulling back a ton and everyone's going to take all their profits right at that zone. So the run up to 25K is going to be a very interesting point, especially when you think about psychologically. 25K, we hit that. Okay, cool. That means 50,000 seems way more possible now. Right? And then it also makes you think, well, it's a quarter of the way to $100,000. So maybe $100,000 is possible too, right? You start to think further and further what is actually capable of happening. Let's go look at the next coin. Looking over at Orchid, aka OXT. OXT for the daily had a candle close in the green above 24 cents. I mentioned this previously, but it is in a bearish trend pattern, and with it being below the level of support, this signifies a continuation more than likely. This is off of the symmetrical triangle pattern, but with Orchid's instances, it needs to have 3 days. 2 days really hasn't been stabilized, and this is primarily in reference to that 21 EMA. Orchid is a very interesting thing to kind of take an examination on because there's been so many instances of pump and dumps occurring. So the trend for this needs to be strengthened more adamantly by having 3 patterns occur. So 2 days of closure below this level of support is showing signs of it still being in these low zones. Today, though, if it does decide it wants to go up, it's going to have to go above 25 cents, 0.2513, and close back within this candle zone. And then we also have the 21 EMA at approximately 26 cents as another major form of resistance. Another form of resistance at 27 cents, 0.2760. And then we're actually going to be looking at trying to go back into these other levels with like the Fibonacci retracement right here. So I can actually extend this out right about there. Hopefully this will save. Makes it look like it saves the things, and then I guess it doesn't because I got other windows open on this. So as you guys can see, we're still in that red zone in the 0.236 Fibonacci retracement. We want to get to the 0.382. 0.382 is looking at around 30 cents, 0.3054 off of that. Break above this level from the consolidated zone at 0.3232, and then we also got the next level, the 50% range right around there, the Fibonacci retracement, right, and that's at 0.3381, and then we want to go towards 40 cents, etc., running back up towards the dollar range. So right now the signs are still bearish. It's still not looking good. Nice little day of recovery that took place yesterday. A lot of times what goes on with Orchid is very reflective of what Bitcoin decides it wants to do. And so if this decides that it wants to go further down and Bitcoin decides that it wants to fake people out and it starts dropping further down, then we have one bounce off zone around 21 cents at 0.2164. There was a bottom that happened the day before that around 0.2096, just a little bit less than 21 cents. And then a major bottom zone is going to be at 19 cents, 0.1956. Anything is possible. If it decides it wants to drop even further below that, then you guys can actually see that there's a bit of a consolidated zone that had taken place here. So another major bottom zone is going to be around 16 cents, 0.1635. Hopefully it doesn't go that low. Although on one hand, I kind of hope it does, because then I could technically accumulate more for a much cheaper price. I do believe in this coin personally. Guys, I'm not a financial advisor. Can't tell you what you should or should not invest in. I like this project. You want to learn more about it, go check out some of my other videos. You guys can also go check out their website. Yeah, but I really believe in this project. Now, if it does decide, actually, we're good. We're going to go ahead and just kind of keep it at that right now. We already talked about the ups and downs on this. So right now is a very key day for it to be able to make that decision if it wants to try and break this trend of formation and potentially still have the capabilities of having its breakout and stabilize in the positive sense. So we're looking around New Year's, December 30th to December 31st. That is a key decisive moment if it goes back into the symmetrical triangle pattern of as long as it can go before it needs to have another major volume change, something to take place. I guess the only other concern that I have is these candles taking here could once again change the formation of this major trend. So the way I look at it, they're not necessarily strengthened enough to establish this trend pattern outside of the symmetrical chart. But if this goes sideways and I have to reposition this again, it is what it is. Again, we're looking at it from a psychological standpoint. I think it's much more likely that around December 30th to December 31st, the New Year period, that we could see some movement going on. Looking at XRP, just very briefly, very briefly, we've been having a lot of sell-off taking place. It has to do with that lawsuit that's going on with the SEC, the uncertainty of what's going to happen with Ripple, but a lot of people decided to go ahead and take it and flip it into a positive gain. So as of yesterday, it was up about 30% or so. And on the daily close, we do see some pullback occurring. We saw some pullback occurring with Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin now at $23,580. Some major selling action seeming to take place off of Bybit and Binance futures, just like normal. Some good buy action going on BitMEX. It looks like some Binance futures are also coming back a little bit, but a lot of major like $1 million plus. I've been seeing a lot of that going on with Bybit. So I don't know if people are like moving it over to Bybit and then doing their selling, but as you guys can actually see on this chart right here, there's $1 million right there that was just sold on Bybit. Here's 1.1 million on Bybit, 1.8 million on Bybit. All the $1 million sell-offs that are taking place are labeled with Bybit. Almost $1 million purchase from Bybit. Yeah, very interesting. Just kind of keeping an eye on those things. And looking at XRP has potential to drop down. Major level to focus on is going to be 21 cents, 0.2149. Major level for it to break up above the level of resistance is going to be 47 cents, 0.4786. That's the 21 EMA. I'm going to keep it very brief with that. And then we're also going to look up for Ethereum. Ethereum, you guys can actually see, had also a green day, some nice gains, pushing itself back above $600. Right now also in the red zone so far, 20 minutes into the new day. This pullback down, that 21 EMA is right on $600. Right? So that is very important to take a look and see if it's going to bounce off or it's going to maintain itself above that. We had one day of closure that took place below the 21 EMA, but immediately came back and recovered it. So overall, it's still showing very strong signs from a trend perspective of being in a bullish run. But, you know, you can only be in a bullish run for so long until it decides it wants to have some pullback. So it's going to be interesting to see how this has a further continuation up. And then you guys can also see that there's a lot of action taking place right around here, around $639. Around $639 is going to be a level of resistance, and then pushing up towards around $700. There's actually a bounce off that took place here at $676. Break above $700, and you're starting to look a lot more positive towards trying to get back to those previous records, right? Especially that big key level right around $1,420, right around that range. Okay, that's going to go and do it for this episode, guys. If you're new to the channel, once again, do not forget to hit subscribe, especially if you guys have been watching my other videos. You just haven't clicked it for whatever reason. Why not? Why not? You're already watching the content, right? So you can be part of the community. Put a little extra smile on my face. Maybe it'd be like my Christmas present. I almost said Christmas present. What's going on with me? Oh, you know, I just realized I didn't get any eggnog. Maybe I should get some eggnog or something. All right, looks like my mom is calling me right now, so I got to go see what's going on with that, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button. Let's try to get to 100 likes on this video, and also click the bell icon so you know whenever we have a new video, you get that on time. Leave any thoughts and opinions you guys have on everything that happened today, anything I might have missed in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and I will see you guys in the next episode.